Hi, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about breathing and the different types of breathing there is. So we're going to be focusing on our breath. So for most of us, without thinking about the breath, we probably would be using that chest breath. It's not until we really start to think about breathing and how we breathe that we are aware of the differences. So just take a few natural breaths to begin with. Remember, you're in a seated position, whichever is comfortable for you. You can be on cross-legged, you can sit on a block or a cushion, you could even be in a chair. But we want to think about lengthening through that upper body, shoulders up and back and relaxed. And then we're just going to have a few natural breaths. So just do a couple of natural breaths in and out without even thinking about it. And you might find that you're breathing through that chest and the shoulders are lifting slightly. What I want you to do now is bring the hands to the lower part of the belly, and we're going to focus on what we call diaphragmatic breathing. And with your diaphragmatic breathing, you're breathing in through the nose. You're drawing that air all the way down and expanding the belly out. And then on your out breath is when the belly starts to deflate and you think about drawing that air up and out through the body again. So we want to focus on the shoulders being relaxed, the chest being relaxed. I often close my eyes and my breathing, it just helps me focus and draw my attention inwards. So let's start off with the diaphragmatic breathing. So we're going to breathe in, expand the belly, pause and hold, and then out breath, the belly deflates. So we're working in through the nose, out through the nose, in, down to the belly's expanding. Belly deflates, air comes out. So you're going to practice that a few times just in your own breath cycles. So, for some of you, you may be doing a count of 3 to 5. Some of you may only be doing a count of 1 or 2, and that's okay. So you're thinking about that in breath through the nose, expand the belly. And then out breath, the belly deflates, the air's coming back out and out through the nose again, or down towards the floor. So over a period of time with the diaphragmatic breathing, you could then go into doing a different breath count, and I'll talk about that in another video, because today what I want to cover is the 3 different stages. So I often recommend you can sit on a quiet space and start your meditation or start your yoga practice by working on the breath first. So you're working through the diaphragmatic breath. The next breath that I want to talk about is the thoracic breath. So this is through that mid part of your section, through kind of the middle around the ribs. What I find the easiest way to actually notice if you're feeling the difference in the breath is to take the hands and you're going to place them around the bottom part of the ribs. So my fingers are facing slightly forward and my thumb is facing around the back of my rib cage. So that when I'm breathing, instead of breathing down to the belly, this time I'm breathing and expanding outwards. And by applying a little bit of pressure with the hands, you're going to feel that resistance. You're going to feel the breath and the body expanding outwards. And if you think about, your lungs are at the back, then when they inflate, they go out and then they deflate. So think about chest is relaxed, shoulders are relaxed, belly is relaxed. So I'm going to close my eyes for this one. I'm going to breathe in. I'm applying a bit of pressure through the hands. I felt that movement out, and then out breath. In breath. Out breath. That's your in breath, followed by your out breath. And this does take a bit of time and a bit of practice. You have to do this a few times to really get the hang of it. I've been doing it for a while, so I instantly know that on the first couple of breaths I could do that. But if you're practicing at home, you might find that you need to sit and do just the thoracic breath for a good 8 to 10 times. And another thing you could also do is practice on someone in your family. I found, in some of the training courses that I've been on, we've had a partner, and then the partner would hold their hands around our back so that they would actually feel what it feels like and looks like, and then we swap. And it's just interesting to see different people's breath range, but also the movement. You know, for some people, you know, and what I've practiced with other people, there's been very little movement. They're feeling the effect of the breath, but there's not a lot of movement. Whereas, you know, with some people, they really expand outwards. So we've done the diaphragmatic breathing, which is that belly breath, and we've worked on the thoracic breath. And now we're going to come into what's called the clavicular breath. So this is the chest breathing. So this is often the breath that you would default when you're doing some like cardio exercise. It's that very short, very fast, light breath. You know, some people say it's almost like you're hyperventilating. So what you will find with this is if you're used to using a lot of breath, I use very long breath in my practice, that when I actually come into this breath, I find it quite difficult to breathe. It's almost like somebody's cut off my airway because it's a really short breath for me. And for a lot of the population, and obviously the older we get, the more we struggle with breath. And during our times at the moment now, breath practice is really important. So you can place your hand on your chest, and then you think about keeping the other two parts of the body relaxed. And then you're just going to have a short, sharp breath in through the nose, out through the nose. So I'm feeling my chest and my shoulders rising with the breath. And it's a very short, very fast breath. And for me, actually, I feel like I'm not getting enough air in. So now what we're going to do is we're going to practice what's called the long breath. And it's an 8-count breath. And I'm quite big about visualization. And what I imagine is the letter J. If you think about what a J looks like. So what we do is we start with the in-breath, and then you're breathing in through the body. It's going to come into the belly. So the belly's expanding. You're going to then come up to the thoracic, the ribs and the lungs are going to come outwards. And then you're going to come into the clavicular breath, which is your chest breath, which is short and shallow. You're then going to pause there. Then you're going to come back down, let out the chest. The rib cage is going to come in. The lungs are going to deflate. And then the belly is going to deflate. And it goes out. So your J comes in, scoops all the way up, pauses at the top. Then it starts to go out, down the body, and then scoops out. So I'm imagining scooping in through the pelvis, in through the belly, belly's expanding, up through thoracic, ribs and lungs go out, up to the chest, chest rises, pause and out. And the idea is to do an 8-count breath. I know for a lot of people, they struggle. So don't get hung up about the count. Just think about working the 3 different parts of the body to begin with. So I'll demonstrate. So I'm going to think about in-breath. Belly expands up through thoracic. Expands out to the side, in through the chest. Short, shallow breath, pause and hold. Release the chest. Then the thoracic. And then the belly deflates. Breath comes out. So that again was quite short and sharp. So we're just going to go silent now, and I'm going to just talk you through those breaths. And don't worry if you don't get it right the first time. This is something I actively encourage you to do as often as you can. So we're going to start with a thoracic breath. So in through the nose, belly expands. Up through the thoracic. In through the chest. Pause and hold if you can. If you can't, that's fine. Out through the chest. Thoracic comes in. Belly deflates. Air comes out. And then over the next sort of 5 to 10 times, I want you to continue to practice that. And then you start, when you're comfortable that you're getting all 3 movements in and it's controlled, all 3 movements out, then you can start working on the breath. And the idea would that be an 8 breath count to the top and then 8 breath count out to the bottom. But like I said, don't worry about getting hung up about that in the beginning. Just work with where you are at the moment. And keep practicing the breath. Let me know how you get on. That's the diaphragmatic, thoracic, and clavicular breath. And put together, they become the long breath. But you can just choose to work on one of those, which is the diaphragmatic or the thoracic or the clavicular individually, and then just slowly add them together. And it's a good practice that you can work with and develop. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you found it useful and helpful, please let me know and keep practicing your breathing. Take care. Bye-bye.